I showed him exactly what he wanted to watch. And I didn't hold back. When I think back on that day, the memory doesn't come all at once. It drifts into my mind in fragments like an old movie reel, clicking through moments of laughter, silence, tension, and something far deeper than I realized at the time. My name is Emily Carter, and this is the story of how I showed someone exactly what they needed to see without holding back even a piece of myself. It all started on a breezy Friday evening in May. The air in Willow Creek, our small Midwest town, was scented with lilacs, and the streets carried the hum of neighbors mowing their lawns before nightfall. I had just come home from my job at the community library. My hands still smelled faintly of old books and lemon cleaner, and I was tired. And that way, only a week of shelving heavy hardbacks could make you. But I wasn't about to let exhaustion ruin the weekend. Inside my cozy 2-bedroom house, my younger brother, Ethan Carter, was waiting. Ethan was 22, a college student home for the summer. He was bright, but lately, I could tell something weighed on him. He had been quieter than usual, spending more time locked in his room with his laptop. Earbuds in, shoulders hunched. Tonight, though, he surprised me by sitting on the couch with the TV remote resting on his knee, looking at me with a kind of restless energy. "You busy tonight, Em?" he asked. I shook my head. "Not really. Why I want to watch something with you. Something I've been putting off, but I don't. I don't want to do it alone." His voice cracked on the last word, and my heart tightened. Ethan had always been the kind of kid who carried his struggles quietly, as if showing them would be a burden to anyone else. I walked into the living room, dropped my library tote on the floor, and sat down beside him. "Okay," I said gently. "Show me." That's when he pulled up an old DVD from his backpack. The cover was worn, its colors faded. It wasn't a blockbuster film or anything we might have seen in theaters. It was a home video, a recording of our father. My breath caught in my chest. Dad had passed away 3 years ago, after a sudden heart attack that left our family reeling. The last time I had watched one of his videos, I'd ended up crying so hard. I swore I'd never put myself through it again. But looking at Ethan's eyes right around the edges, pleading, I knew this wasn't about me. "You sure about this?" I asked softly. He nodded. "I need to, and I need you there." So we pressed play. The screen flickered, and suddenly there he was. Dad, standing in our old backyard, wearing his favorite baseball cap. The camera wobbled, as Mum had clearly been the one recording. Dad grinned, waving like he was addressing a stadium, instead of just his kids. His voice boomed with the same warmth I remembered, and for a moment, the living room felt like it had shifted in time. Ethan stiffened beside me, his arms crossed tightly. I reached over and placed a hand on his shoulder. He didn't shrug me off. That was something. We sat there in silence, watching Dad tell jokes, grill burgers, tease Ethan about his haircut, and pull me into frame to remind me to smile. Every word, every laugh was like a gift, and a wound all at once. I could feel Ethan's breathing deepen, like he was trying to hold back a tide inside him. Finally, when Dad's image filled the screen with one of his classic pep talks about working hard, staying honest, and taking care of each other, Ethan broke. His hand went to his face, covering his eyes, and his body shook with quiet sobs. I didn't say anything right away. I let him cry, let him finally release what he had been bottling up. When the credits of the old tape rolled, a shaky handwritten note from Mom that said, "Summer, 2007. I muted the TV. Ethan turned to me, eyes swollen, cheeks wet. I thought I could handle it alone, but every time I tried, I couldn't hit play. It hurt too much, but I needed to see him again. I needed to hear his voice. I swallowed hard, my own tears threatening to spill. I know it hurts me too, but we don't have to carry it by ourselves. That's the whole point of family." For the next hour, Ethan opened up in a way I hadn't seen since before Dad died. He admitted how angry he'd been, not at Dad, but at life. how he struggled in school, how he feared disappointing everyone, how sometimes he thought about quitting college altogether. I listened, really listened, without cutting him off or jumping in to fix things. And then when he was finally done, I told him the truth. I had been holding back too. I've been struggling too, I said quietly. I put on a brave face because I thought you needed me to be strong. But the truth is, I miss him every single day. I cry in the car sometimes just so you won't see. But hiding it hasn't helped either of us. Ethan's expression softened. You never told me that because I thought if I showed you my pain, it would make yours worse. But maybe what we needed all along was to share it. The silence that followed wasn't heavy anymore. It was healing. From that night on, we made it a ritual. Every Friday, we watched one of Dad's old videos together. Sometimes we laughed until our sides hurt, like the one where Dad tried to build a treehouse and fell through the first floor. Sometimes we cried quietly, side by side. But every single time we came away, lighter, closer, more whole. By the end of that summer, Ethan wasn't the same closed-off young man who had come home from college. He started smiling again, volunteering at the local youth center, even talking about his dreams of becoming a teacher. He admitted one day that it was those videos and those nights together that had given him the courage to look forward instead of backward. As for me, I realized something too. Showing Ethan what he needed to see wasn't about the videos themselves. It was about showing him my vulnerability, my honesty, my heart. It was about not holding back the truth. That grief is heavy, but it becomes bearable when carried together. So, when I say I showed him exactly what he wanted to watch, and I didn't hold back, I don't just mean the tapes of Dad. I mean, I showed him the real me, pain and all. And in doing that, I gave him permission to do the same. That's what changed everything. That's what turned a night of sorrow into the beginning of healing. And even now, years later, when the ache of missing Dad sneaks up on me, I know one thing for sure. I don't have to face it alone. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is press play.